Well, this certainly isn't fun to hear about, but today we are diving into some of the money issues that will be presenting themselves for some of these NHL teams. In particular, I wanted to go over two of them. Heck, there are 11 total, but I really just wanted to focus on two because, of course, two of my favorite teams have made the list. Oh yeah, going all Chris Jericho on ya, baby. You just made the list. Today we are diving into teams that are facing cap penalties for 2025-2026. And these all come to us via the form of Puckpedia. So, let's go out there and read this article that's on their website. It was published earlier yesterday. At least 11 NHL teams are going to carry a performance bonus overage cap hit in 2025-2026. The article starts out by talking about the NHL's cap jump, $4.5 million of extra money to $88 total million for the 24-25. The first significant increase in years. While teams have welcomed the extra breathing room, the effects of years of a stagnant cap still linger across much of the league. This season, 24-25, 20 of the NHL's 32 teams use LTIR to exceed the cap either temporarily or for extended stretches. While that's a slight dip from the record-setting 22 teams the year before, it is still the second highest total historically. 40% of teams ended the season with a final cap hit above the $88 million season. One of the consequences of finishing over the cap via LTIR is the triggering of performance bonus overages. When players earn performance bonuses and their team finishes the season over the salary cap, those bonuses are carried over as a cap charge for the following season. Okay, that's very well explained. Big shout out over to the Puckpedia guys for being able to take such a complicated idea and present it in such very easy to digest English that we could go out there and just say, okay, if you finish the season off over the regular salary cap with the LTIR, it forces performance bonus overages when players earn their bonuses and that salary cap has been overtaken. Under the salary cap rules outlined in the CBA, only certain types of players are eligible for performance bonuses. 1. Players on their ELCs. 2. Players that are 35 or older and signed a one-year deal. And 3. Veteran players that have missed considerable time due to an injury and sign a one-year contract. At the conclusion of the season, any performance bonuses earned are added to the team's final cap hit. If that total exceeds the cap, which is $88 million, the excess becomes a performance bonus carryover overage cap charge applied to the next season. So, this is the overages for this year's crop of NHL players. There are 11 teams total. You have the St. Louis Blues, who have an overage carryover cap penalty charge of $2.15 million. The Montreal Canadiens are in there at $1.7 million, excuse me. The Minnesota Wild have a cap charge of $1 million, along with the New Jersey Devils. The Red Wings have an $871,000 cap overage penalty. The Maple Leafs have a $626,000 cap overage charge. The Islanders have $600,000. The Dallas Stars $368,000, $100,000, not million. The Kings, the Oilers, and the Hurricanes each have varying smaller amounts. The Carolina Hurricanes, who have always been more stingy with spending their money, only have a cap overage charge of $33,000. Like, okay, $33,000. You're dealing in normie numbers now, folks. That's like the amount of money that you and I are used to seeing. But I wanted to talk about Montreal. I wanted to talk about Detroit because it's listed here for some of them. The Montreal Canadiens could get additional bonus overage charges. They'll get a further $25,000 fine if Ivan Demidov plays 5 playoff games. They'll get a $30,000 cap overage charge if Demidov plays 10 playoff games. And they'll get an extra $525,000 overage charge if Ivan Demidov wins the Conn Smythe. So Ivan Demidov, If the Montreal Canadiens win the Stanley Cup and Demidov is the MVP, boom, that's an extra $525,000. Plus the extra money for the games played in the playoffs. Now, I don't know if the Canadiens make 10 games. I don't know if it's going to be like, okay, Demidov will get $25,000 in bonuses for 5 playoff games, but then he gets an extra $30,000 if he gets 10 playoff games. Like, is it added up on each other? Does he get a total of $55,000? Or do they say, okay, you're getting $25,000 for 5 playoff games, but that $25,000 upgrades to $30,000 if you get to 10? Or is it straight up, you'll get $25,000 for 5, and then you'll get an extra $30,000 if you get to 10, for a total of $55,000, and then you'll get an extra $525,000 if you win the Conn Smythe. Thus, adding all these numbers together and giving the Montreal Canadiens what could be a total of, what is that, $55,000, $530,000, $580,000 of extra bonus charges for Ivan Demidov, which would make their total of $1.7 million of next year's cap charge boosted up there to $2.2 something million. I don't know. It's still possible because they're in the playoffs, but let's just say Ivan Demidov does not get $500,000 for the Conn Smythe. This already seems to be the deal here. Montreal with $1.7 million of a cap charge penalty for next year. The Red Wings are also in here, $871,000. Let's dive into why these numbers are brought up in the way they are. There's an article on ProHockeyRumors.com by Josh Erickson, which dives into exactly what bonuses were hit. For the Montreal Canadiens, we can talk about that later because it's longer, but the Red Wings have an $871,000 bonus cap penalty. Detroit ended the year with a comfortable $2.02 million in cap space, but had $2.888 million in performance bonuses to dole out, so they'll get hit with a 6-figure penalty next year. Patrick Kane hit $1.75 million in games played bonuses this year as a part of his 35-plus contract, while Edvinsson and Kasper each had multiple Schedule A bonuses categories for $638,000 and $500,000 in respective bonuses. They also have a $1.056 million cap charge for next season for the final year of Justin Advocator's buyout, bringing their total dead cap next year to $1.927 million. So that just gives you a little bit more insight as to where the Red Wings are spending their extra money, or at least where they're getting penalized, because Patrick Kane, Edvinsson, Kasper all hit their bonuses, so good for them, but not so great for the Red Wings because they will be hit with an $871,000 cap hit penalty for next season. And if you go over to the Montreal Canadiens, this one's a little bit longer here. It's listed that they currently have $1.728 million, but it could go as high as $2.308 million, which, as we had discussed, is all dependent on Ivan Demidov. All of the Canadiens' performance bonuses awarded this season will count towards their overage because they ended the year with carry price on the LTIR to remain cap compliant. Star rookie Lane Hutson maxed out his Schedule A bonuses for $750,000. Juraj Slafkovsky earned $500,000 in A bonuses for finishing top 6 amongst Canadiens forwards in average time on ice and top 3 in plus-minus. D-man Cayden Guhle maxed out his $420K in A bonuses, and defenseman Jayden Struble earned $57,500 in games played bonuses. Their cap hit penalty will increase based on the performance bonuses rookie Ivan Demidov incurs in the postseason. He'll earn $25,000 for 5 playoff appearances, $30,000 for 10 playoff appearances, and a whopping $525,000 bonus if he wins the Conn Smythe. The Habs don't have any other dead cap charges next year, but still have to contend with the final year of Carey Price's deal. So, that's it. The Wings and the Canadiens are 2 of 11 teams that are going to experience cap hit penalties for next season, and it's not going to look all too great. I mean, if the Canadiens, let's say they win the Cup. If they win the Cup and Demidov gets the Conn Smythe, nobody cares. They're fine. Who cares? But $2.3 million in cap being taken away from you is not insignificant. That's a pretty decent amount. Even if the Canadiens don't win the playoffs, even if they get swept and Demidov doesn't play the 5 games, $1.728 million in a cap penalty next year is not insignificant. So, yeah, it's not great, but the bonuses were hit. These players were able to fulfill the conditions required to get them extra money. It's good for them. Good for Patrick Kane, Edvinsson, and Kasper in the Red Wings organization. Their $871,000 penalty isn't the worst in the world. There are a bunch of other teams that have incurred more. But still, it's not great to hear about. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Wings and the Habs getting these cap penalties for next year. And just what are your thoughts on all the bonuses that were reached? I hope you enjoyed this video. Scholz 99, and bye.